live.
Hello.
Hi, welcome back to Inside Out. I'm Jordan. We never introduce ourselves anymore.
I know, and I always think about that because when I hear other podcasts, I'm like, we should probably do that.
I know.
But
especially because we're related, and I feel like our voices, even though we don't hear them, maybe could sound similar sometimes.
Yeah, I wonder if we do.
Yeah. Let us know, but this is Jordan.
This is Jamie.
And we are in a different location if you guys are watching this podcast on YouTube. We are at our parents' house, and we're in their, office. Mm-hmm. And the light is so nice out today.
I know. I did not realize it was so sunny.
Yeah, so we found a room with, the biggest source of light.
Yeah,
that we could.
It's so dark in this house.
Yeah, I think it's just, the blind, what do they call them? Window
Shutters.
treatments. Yeah,
whatever they have.
But we are going to be talking about a subject today. So we've actually been doing this podcast. If you're new here, we've been doing this podcast since 2020, I think. Mm-hmm. And so with that, we've had I think we're at 110 or something episodes. And so we've gone through a lot of topics.
Yes,
in
we
general.
have.
Yeah.
Have we talked about this before?
We have. We've talked about anxiety and our ways of coping and stuff, but this was years ago. Mm-hmm. And we were so much younger. And I feel like I've learned a lot. You've learned a lot.
Definitely.
And so we were going through and finding different episodes that we've done and wanted to kind of update them in a way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so
revive.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Because again,
I think we just have more to add now.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm sure some of the things will be the same or whatever, but for the most part, I think we have a different take on things. Probably think different things cause us anxiety, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, honestly.
Our lives are different from then.
True.
And so we're going to be talking about that. And just, of course, you guys know we're not professionals. But this is going to be our point of view. And so we'll get into that eventually. But for now, I haven't seen you literally all week again.
I know. They weeks just fly by. Oh my God. Are those all your notes?
Yeah.
How do you have so much? I couldn't think of anything.
Because I'm...
but I think it's just because my iPad wasn't working.
Oh, yeah. She wasn't.
It really threw me off.
Yeah. But, yeah, no, I have a lot. But some of these were just, not... You know what I mean? My pre-notes.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
But anyway.
Okay, great.
So what have you been doing?
Well, I got my wisdom teeth out, so that knocked me out for a few days.
Yeah. How are you doing? Are you thriving?
Yeah. I mean, still just, a little bit sore. I can feel it when I talk.
Yeah.
But,
see, Jamie,
really
I was telling Jamie, I'm so jealous because after she got hers out, I know it's different for everyone. I got mine out in high school and my cheeks were so puffy. I looked like I was a squirrel.
Yeah.
And I had to go to school like that. And
it's funny. I don't remember when you got yours out.
Yeah.
I remember going into an appointment. I think I was there.
Probably. I feel like
unless I'm making it up, but
you were like,
but I don't remember you after.
I have to go.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I used to do that all the time.
Yeah.
No, that's my sister.
Yeah. But Jamie said the opposite. Sure, hers were swollen before, and then afterwards they went down.
Yeah. Well, I only got my tops out, so maybe that's
that
why.
Could be it, yeah.
But they said I wouldn't swell because they took them out in whole, and I didn't have to get stitches. So it didn't really.
Yeah. You know what's funny? I was so scared whenever I got mine out to get dry socket.
I know.
Did they warn you about that? You can't.
She didn't really say that, but yeah, she told me all of that. She never said
why.
Why?
Yeah.
But all of a sudden, my TikTok For You page is all about wisdom teeth.
Really? Oh,
yes.
God, that's really fun for you, babe.
Really? Thank you.
Yeah,
it's what I eat after a wisdom teeth removal. I'm like, okay, I did not ask for this.
Is it that? I mean, maybe it is that serious.
I guess that's been
helpful. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
For me, I just wanted to eat popsicles, so that's all I ate. Popsicles.
Yeah, pretty much. I've been feeling terrible because I have been eating only liquid things and applesauce, and it all just has so much sugar in it. Yeah. But
then you can't do anything, so you're sugared up and you're
I know.
sitting there.
Yeah, rotting.
Yeah. Wait, do you watch Love Is Blind?
I used to.
Oh.
That's the one that they're in separate rooms.
Yeah. I'm watching.
I don't know. I tried before and I can't get into it.
Really? I like it.
But that's funny you said that because it was on my For You page last night of one of the meeting for the first time.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And you could tell the girl didn't like it.
Oh, yes. That was probably Irina and Zach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Irina. I remember that in the comments.
Yeah. We were watching it last night. Well, I was watching. So Jared was playing video games, right? And I was watching it on my computer. I like watching TV on my computer better, but that's beside the point. I'm just making sure people know that. I don't know why I felt the need. Like, anyway, so
I do too sometimes.
Yeah, I can. It's because I need glasses and so I can see better.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I was watching it. He finished playing and he's like, "Do you want to put it on the TV?" Because he was like watching it while doing it, and it's so funny because he does not watch reality TV like that with me.
Yeah.
And
he was into it.
Yeah, he like literally asked to put it on the.
Jared's gonna be one of those dads that say this show is so stupid, and then they're gonna like hover over.
Anyway, did you see? Okay, I don't know how this popped up, but I saw. No, it was a TikTok of Rosie and Sophia Grace. Do you remember them from Ellen?
She had a baby.
Oh yeah, she did. You're right.
Yeah.
And they were if you guys don't remember them, they were like a best friend set, and they did like a Nicki Minaj song, and they got famous from it, like rapping it. And they went on Ellen, and I saw a video of it, and it was so funny to me because it just reminded me of like being a kid, but it was like. Which one is it? I think it's Sophia Grace is the one doing the entire thing.
The older, like the one with the dark hair,
yes.
black hair.
Yeah. She was the one doing all of it, and she was like rapping so hard. The other girl's mic was off, Rosie, but she's doing it, and she's like, she gets most of the words, but she just does like dances with it. And I thought it's so funny. I didn't remember that because the comments on it, that was I think why I put it on here. It's because of the comments. Wait. What is Rosie doing? Sophia is a true barb. Rosie's there for support. Can we talk about how now they're grown? Can we actually talk now that they're grown? What did Rosie ever do?
Yeah, she was just, that's like me and you.
That's like the hype people that go on the stage with like the rappers and stuff. They have to hype up the crowd.
Yeah,
you know?
Totally.
There's a purpose. Rosie served a purpose.
That's so us.
Right. Justice for Rosie.
Yeah. I'm Rosie.
Yeah. You kind of even look like Rosie.
That's funny.
Yeah. Anyway.
It's always so weird to think, to look back at like those videos or like memes even, or like even I saw this too, like one of those videos, but it was Zach and Cody. Sweet Life of Zach and Cody. Yeah. And it was like, in 15 years, that's going to be September 20-something of 2023. And it's like, it was someone duetting it, saying like, that's crazy that it's like been 15 years. And I agree. It's it's really weird to like look back on now.
Yeah,
those things, or even gross, like that.
Honestly,
yeah.
Like to think 15. 15. That's a big number.
That is a big number.
I don't know. I went out with my childhood best friend. I don't think she's watching this, but and we hadn't talked in like a few years. I haven't seen her in a while, like years, probably like 8 years. And we were talking about it, and I was like, it's crazy to me. I mean, I'm not going, but technically our like reunion would be in like, I mean, if I ended high school in 2015, it would be in 2 years, 10-year reunion.
That's crazy.
That's fucked.
Yeah.
You know, because I do feel my age, but I also feel like there's no way. I feel like the pandemic obviously took years out of all of our lives. Like, and so it's really crazy to me to think that.
Went by fast.
Yeah, like I'm still 23.
Yeah. I still feel like I'm 18.
Yeah. Right.
We're in high school.
We're like
I'm just a 17-year-old.
Right. And that's the thing. I don't have an issue with aging. It's just crazy to think. Like, it scares me when you look back and realize how it goes fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
But anyway. I digress.
But anyways.
Talking about anxiety.
Yeah.
Aging anxiety. I know a lot of people do have that.
I do sometimes.
Yeah.
Not a lot though. But
yeah.
Yeah.
I can see that. I think like I wonder back when you didn't have social media and stuff, like was it a lot easier because like in that regard because you didn't have other people's lives to compare, like you had celebrities and stuff lives to compare, but not like people you knew.
Right.
You know, and I feel like Facebook, you see everyone doing all these things. Like I don't know. I wonder.
know. I would too.
Yeah. But anyway.
I would love to know.
Right. Yeah, I love that.
I forgot to write my ins and outs.
Yeah. What are your ins and outs?
I literally
crack them quick.
Well,
or find them, I mean, or think of them.
Let me look. You can say one if you want while I look.
These are like moments. Like one was Jared. I was showing him like the Butterfly Fly Away song from Hannah Montana. Yeah, and I was showing it to him, and I was like playing it, and he was like, "Oh my god, is that Billy Ray Cyrus?" Blah blah blah. And then he's like, "Does that song resonate with you?" I was like, "What the fuck does that matter? I'm showing you the song." And then I said, "I guess," sassily. Okay, I was like, "I guess."
Yeah.
And then every time, I don't know if anyone else is like significant other like this, but anytime I'm sassy, he plays like a specific song. I'm sure it's different for everyone's song.
He does do that.
Yeah, but he plays Mood, the song Mood. You know that one?
No, I don't think so.
Why you always in a mood?
Oh.
Act like it's brand new. I ain't gotta tell you what to do. And
he thinks he's funny.
It makes me more mad. Yeah, it makes me sassier. Mm-hmm. I'm like, I'm gonna throw the Google Home. No, I'm just so it makes me sound really bad. Like I would never do. But I will snap that Google Home in half. Anyway,
right in half.
Right. So anyway, what is yours?
I literally, I don't know. I just do the same things. But basically this week, the wisdom teeth. I mean, it was great when you came over. You and Jay came over for a while, even though I just kind of observed the whole time. That was nice. Yeah. You know, and yeah, I had a really big paper for school due.
She's a scholar.
Huge.
Story. Scholarly. That looked like a big thing.
Yeah.
I kind of miss writing essays.
Yeah.
I want to cosplay as a student and just like go to the library.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah. I said I'm going to get a library pass just so I can go there.
Honestly.
You know?
As you should.
Yeah. But I think that's do you like writing essays or do you hate them?
No, I don't mind them.
Really?
Actually. Yeah.
Oh my god.
It's actually kind of fun.
Really?
Yeah.
We watched Napoleon Dynamite. Have you ever watched that movie?
Yes.
That movie?
Not in a while though.
Yeah. It's funny and it's silly, but it's also like I didn't remember that it was so cinematic and artsy.
Really?
Like the shots, yeah. And it's just like very like aesthetically like and visually pleasing. Mm-hmm. And we didn't realize that.
That's funny. Now I need to watch it again.
I know. And it made me want to also watch Blades of Glory or like those old like Will Ferrell movies. Mm-hmm. Remember that we like used to watch?
Yeah.
But anyway. The last thing I have on here is that I wrote down is that so Miley Cyrus's new album, right? There's a song Jaded on it. Mm-hmm. And everyone's been posting about it and saying that like it's like Liam and like posting pictures with Liam during it. I don't think that song is about Liam.
I don't think so either.
Yeah. Like, I'm sorry that you're jaded.
I always think about it too in that song. I'm like, what could this really be about?
It's Cody Simpson. I bet you anything it's about Cody Simpson. Everyone forgets, but they dated
right before.
After.
Oh, after.
They got divorced.
Yes.
You know?
God, where did that relationship go?
I don't know, but they were friends for a really long time, and I loved that relationship because I
love
Cody Simpson, love Miley, yeah.
Wow.
And so funny. I really think because it's like that's not like an angry song. It's like I like you're lonely and I hate it. Like she does, and then you listen to like another song on there. I can't remember. It's like Muddy Feet or something, and it's like get the fuck out of my house and like she's angry at Liam. So I don't think that song would be about him.
Right? Yeah, I don't think so either.
Like she said, I kept your T-shirt and stuff. It's like no, that is about Cody Simpson.
Yeah, I could see that.
That's my case.
That's cute.
Yeah. Right. Anyway, so you have nothing else for the prerequisite or the pre-pod?
I don't think so, sadly.
The pre-show. We should call this the pre-show.
The pre-show.
Right.
Yeah, I really haven't been doing much. I can't think of anything else.
Yeah. That's okay.
Sorry.
She's a mute.
So sorry.
She's getting blasted.
I did try pineapple juice.
Mm-hmm. Pineapple juice is so good.
I didn't realize how good it was.
You know what's the best in the summer? I found this out last summer. Is like you take crushed ice and then you pour pineapple juice in it.
Oh, so good.
Yeah, I love pineapple.
Tasty.
Pineapple juice is a lot of like different things that it's really good for too.
Yeah, it's just so refreshing.
It is. It's like because I like pineapple, but I'd rather drink it. That's the one thing I'd rather drink.
Yeah, honestly, pineapple makes my mouth sore after I eat it.
Yeah, it's like Sour Patch Kids. It tears your mouth up.
It really does.
To go into this, actually, okay, so if we're gonna go, do you want to go straight into the topic then?
Sure.
Okay,
Sorry.
No, it's fine. We're gonna talk about anxiety, but I thought I had this one moment in pop culture that was perfect for a segue into this, and it resurfaced. I saw it actually in my YouTube feed, and it was Shawn Mendes. He's in, do you remember this? He was in an interview, right? And the interviewer goes like,
So it was Shawn Mendes.
yeah.
And you?
Yeah. The interviewer goes like, I like suffer from anxiety, and he's like, awesome. He like says awesome. Is that what he said? Yeah. No, he goes amazing. Like he's just, I think he's like nudging in a conversation. You know what I mean? Like just like, like when you're talking and I'm like just in the, like just replying to you as you're talking.
Yeah.
I think that's what it was. But it's like you saying like, like I suffer from anxiety, and he like you say it and then I'll say it.
I suffer from anxiety.
Amazing.
Why did he say that?
It was like before she had really finished it.
Oh, so he didn't know what she was saying?
But it's such a funny clip to me.
Mental health awareness.
Yes.
And it is Mental Health Awareness Month. Like myself included, I struggle with anxiety.
Amazing.
And
I just think that clip is funny. If you guys know what it is,
I need to see it now. That's
Yeah.
crazy. Why would he say that?
I think again he just was just replying and he didn't hear what she said first.
Yeah.
But anyway, so let's talk about our background on anxiety.
Okay.
You say first. I've been talking a lot.
Okay. I remember getting really anxious when Mom used to leave the house.
Oh yeah.
And like I would cry and cry and cry. And I was
Really?
like not that young.
Yeah.
But as I got older, I remember in middle school, that's when I got like, I feel like socially anxious,
Oh.
if anything.
Yeah.
Like a little bit.
Right.
But I think that's because like my soccer thing, like my knee and
Oh.
ruined it for me.
Right.
Like,
So what, you were like embarrassed or something?
yeah, I don't know what to call
Or
it.
just felt
Like,
awkward.
yeah, like I didn't know my place because I was
Yeah.
always playing that.
Right. Right.
But then I kind of just like, I mean, I've always felt like not very, but like as I get older, I think I'm more socially. Like I never even thought I ever dealt with anxiety until like this last therapist.
Wow.
And because I always thought my problem was with depression.
Yeah.
But now I'm realizing like what anxiety is compared to depression.
Yeah.
And while I have both, I think like like anxiety is like the thoughts and like
Yeah.
feelings attached to it, but like depression for me is like other symptoms of like I'm so tired all the time
Sure,
and
yeah.
hopelessness and all of that. That's how it shows up. But anxiety, I think for me also got really bad after I was on Prozac.
Oh.
And that like really messed my brain up, I think.
Yeah.
And
Like, is it like numbs you out, and then afterwards maybe then you start then you're
feeling it more, and I think
Yeah.
it causes like your brain, like your receptors of like dopamine and everything kind of to like, I don't know how to explain it right, but and I'm not going to because I'm not a doctor, but basically what you said, I think just made me like feel it more, and like after coming off of it, because that was like the first SSRI I've been on, which is like not just, I don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So I think that kind of is where it started for me, really, after that medication.
Right.
But
So then you get anxious socially, and just like generally.
yeah, generally, mostly, I
Okay,
think.
I see.
Like I don't know if it's socially anxious, rather than like awkwardness.
Oh, okay, right.
Like
And
I
then
just always feel,
overthinking?
yeah,
Okay. Right.
But I'm fine to talk to people when I have to and everything. But I do like definitely have to like hype myself up for
Right.
like if I go into work or whatever.
I see.
But yeah.
See, that's interesting because the only reason I'm like was saying I'm surprised because I don't know how to explain it. So I've always been like very socially anxious, and to the point where I think I'm better about it now. You tell me, but
Oh, you're
used to
so much
force
better now.
you to
Yeah.
go talk to people for me, or like go ask for like a napkin. You know what I mean? Like if you're at
Yeah.
a
And like
Dunkin'
those are the
Donuts.
things I'm not anxious about.
I see. Okay,
It's
right.
more of like talking to people.
I see.
Like
that you know,
yeah.
not strangers.
Yeah, I don't know. I just kind of get like nervous about it, and like
Oh.
I'm also very shy
Right.
now.
As you get
Not
older.
very, but like I can come off shy to like people who don't like people who like are automatically very bubbly and like make you feel comfortable. So if those people aren't around, I definitely do feel more anxious.
Yeah.
And like I don't know how to talk to people. Like it all just goes out the window.
Right.
But yeah.
I see. Interesting.
You keep going, sorry.
What?
I kind of cut you off.
What? No, you didn't. No. If we're talking about background, that's just it. I'm just socially anxious. I used to be. Like I said, I think at this point in my life, I don't like find myself in a lot of like anxious situations as often as I once did.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I think that that's for a lot of reasons. And I think that I've really learned to like make it a life for myself that I feel less anxious in. You know what I mean? Like cutting things out, or we'll get to that kind of stuff. But if I just shut up and start the history, socially anxious. I remember I went whenever I was like in high school at the end, my first time ever going to therapy. Mom took me there for like anxiety and like eating stuff. But I learned that I was socially anxious and generally anxious, and which I already knew. I also was thinking about this podcast, and I was like, sometimes you look back and you're like, I've come a long way, because I used to like make my mom order for me every time we went out up until I was probably way too old to be doing that. Right. But like, I don't even remember when it stopped, but definitely like in my teens.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, but like I said, I think that, I feel a lot better in the place I'm in now.
Yeah.
You know?
Good.
Yeah. But again, I do think that really does have to do with like finding out what are the causes of those things.
Totally.
But I still do like, I think my where I like feel the most anxious in general in life, is like situations that I've never been in before. Those cause me like to spiral a little bit. And then also like I like have a fear of being embarrassed. That's what
Interesting.
Yeah. Like little stupid things that make me like nervous, like going to the vet, let's say, because I don't know like how my cat is gonna be. You know what I mean? Like I have to take Dottie, and I'm like, I know she's gonna be so sassy and I'm gonna be embarrassed. Even though then it's like I have conversations with myself in my head that's like, dude, they are vets, they don't care. You know what I mean? So that helps me get over it and be like, it's such a normal thing. It's a fucking cat. You know what I mean? Like they're not most of them are gonna be sassy. And so, and also the vet, it's like going to like a gynecologist, like they see 8 million vaginas a day. They don't care. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's their job.
Right.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's just where I guess mine comes into play. But what have you found that helps yours? Have you figured that out yet, or you're so new to finding these things out? Because if that's the thing, you just
I know it's just so weird. Like I always knew I like had anxious like tendencies maybe, or like you know, or anxious thoughts in general.
Right.
But I never was like actually like told by a professional that I had it. I think maybe once my old therapist before this last one did tell me at one point, but I didn't really register until like lately when I'm like, oh, like when she actually tells me like what it is and like, you know, but yeah, so it's definitely been weird. Like it's been like very new, like to like understand it and realize it.
Oh, right. Yeah, because I think that there's sometimes a difference. Well, I know obviously like I think everyone feels anxious, and I think that it's like, again, like we always talk about scales, everything is a scale, you know, and so if you grow up and you think, oh well, like this is just me being nervous, you know, and then you find out like, oh, this could be like stemming from whatever, you know,
exactly
like that.
But
yeah, that being said, also if you are listening and whether you are like chronically anxious or deal with anything like that, but also are just generally like just normally not normally nervous, but you know what I mean, like everyone, like even people who don't suffer from anxiety, they get anxiety. You know what I mean? Like that's a normal human emotion.
Totally.
So hopefully we could just talk about it in general. But like I said, I do want to make it clear.
We are not doctors.
Well, yeah. And obviously I was like, can we find like a thing to have like a little doctorate? Like if Jeff has like a little like fake like, certification, we could put like doctorate here and we can just cosplay as that.
Yeah.
But yeah. So these might not be helpful, but they're what helped me personally in my life.
Yeah, and
like
what I'm finding too. And I mean, I have the definition. If we want to talk about that.
Sure.
So like the general one is a feeling of worry, nervousness, or unease, typically about an imminent. What is that word?
Imminent.
Yeah. Event or something with an uncertain outcome. And then the psychiatric one, I believe, was a mental condition characterized by excessive apprehensive about real or perceived threats, typically leading to avoidance behaviors and often to physical symptoms such as increased heart rate and muscle tension. So
interesting. Yes.
Yeah, very interesting. Do you want to like do what it looks like for us?
Sure.
Kind of thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Go for it.
Okay.
Start.
There's like a few. Mm-hmm. So one, I find myself zoning out a lot when I feel anxious. Like I'll be at work and I'll be like just like daydreaming and like just pretending I'm not there.
Oh.
Which is not a good coping tool probably, but it is something I find myself doing.
Yeah.
And yeah, I like sometimes just like get into fears about random things. Whether it's like something I did like 10 years ago, I'm like, no, don't like think about that.
Right.
Like it's like stupid things.
Yeah.
Or like just time and like what I'll be doing in 5 years and 10 years and like that way. That sometimes can make me like just nervous and yeah. And then sometimes I think it just makes me feel burnt out. Like it just makes me feel like I want my brain to stop thinking for 1 second.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's how it kind of shows up. And sometimes even irritability. Like if I'm anxious and like say mom does something.
Yeah, you're like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, I don't want to do it. Like I'll just be very sassy and snippy.
Right.
Yeah,
that makes
due
sense.
to that.
Yeah.
And it just stems from that. So
Right.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, and I think that even now that you say that, because I've noticed you even like as you get older, like it was something that like I don't want to air your laundry, but but while we're airing your laundry, like talking about something that you were like nervous about. Oh, getting your wisdom teeth out. And I was like, that's so not Jamie. It's so weird. Like I've never known you to be nervous for those things. You know
I know, because I'm telling you, I used to like never care. I could be knocked out in my sleep. You could do anything. The dentist did not scare me.
Yeah.
And I swear it was after that medicine that I came off of. It just really like
fucked you up.
Yeah. And I'm like trying to deal with the consequences now.
Yeah.
And while I'm thankful for like antidepressants, and I think they're very beneficial when needed and supervised and like all of that, I think it can really help people out in anxiety medicines in general.
But that one just for you just didn't make
did not fit.
Yeah.
And like there were just so many side effects to it that like really ended up making it all worse in the end.
Yeah.
But I find myself in like just traps in my brain of looping over and over again.
Right.
And yeah, I have like a lot of things that I like now do to not get in those.
Right.
While it still happens, but whatever.
Yeah. No, but that's hard. The looping, that's what I'm really bad about in my head.
Me too.
Yeah. Poor you and Jared have heard over the years of like me like little like harping on the dumbest things like over and over again.
Yeah, you do that.
Yeah. And I've like literally.
But it's always funny because you'll do the thing or like whatever you're anxious about and you'll be like, oh yeah.
I know. But I've noticed a lot of my things are like, I never seem to ever get anxious about the future, like future, like like farther, like if something's happening, or like coming up maybe, but like mine seem to be like past conversations, things like that I'll just like loop in my head, and I literally like sometimes I will find myself literally screaming at myself. Like I literally, it was like the other day I'm like I yelled out stop so many times. I said to myself like stop. Like,
sometimes you have to.
Yeah.
It's like sometimes I like have to like
physically shake
it
out.
out.
Yeah, I agree.
And like just get it out of my system.
Yes. Sometimes
Does anyone else do that? Because
I was like, yeah, you go like that.
Yes, I do it all the time.
Yeah. And I literally, the only thing that helps me in that situation is distracting myself or finding something else to focus on, even if it's something else that makes me kind of cringe, but like less. You know what I mean? Like something to take over that like thought. And so I'll start thinking of like work, even like little like things like I found I literally have to like transition my brain to thinking about something else.
I agree,
because otherwise it just won't do it itself. It will keep looping.
Yep.
And another thing that causes mine is like drinking. Like I get very bad anxiety after like I drink. Or how about this? After I get drunk. How about that? Like what do you call it? Like hangover anxiety. And I don't get drunk that often, and I think that's probably the biggest reason. But like also just like if I'm with people, I just feel cringy like after, you know what I mean?
Yeah, afterwards.
Yeah. Unless it's like necessarily you guys, I don't. But like if I'm with other people,
yeah.
And so the cure for that is to not drink, which I also don't necessarily have a problem with, but that is the biggest thing for me. And then I also the socially anxious thing I haven't felt in a while. Like I'm not anxious about talking to people as much as I used to be. Like I know, like I feel confident in that about like at this point in my life, and so I think that's helped me just gaining confidence with talking to people. But going back to when I was the most socially anxious, I think the biggest thing that helped me is working I used to work at Target, if you guys don't know, or retail in general around that area. And that is what like helped me. I think exposure therapy.
Literally.
You know,
I think I'm a server, and literally that is like I think the best job to even, or retail to, or just like have a job to make yourself talk to people and get desensitized, because like that really truly did change a lot for me. And it's like I can go, like it's my job, so I have to like go up to people and like talk to them all day. Yeah,
you have to be the starter of conversation.
Yeah, which has truly helped. Yeah. And
to like put that pressure on yourself, or just like have it on you in general. Yeah. You know, to get paid.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Sometimes that is the thing that helps. And that's why I'm a big thing of a proponent, I think, of like I do it myself, just like, again, exposure therapy for anything that I'm like nervous about. I'm just like, you just have to do it. Yeah. Like I've tried in the past. Whenever I was like feeling it, I run away from things. Like I would cancel appointments. You know what I mean? Like, and I've learned if you just do it and shut up and don't, like, it's just like something on your list that you have to do.
Yeah. Just get it over with.
Yeah. Yeah. And you can't.
And then you feel better afterwards too.
You do, yes. Like exactly. Like I accomplished it, I did it, and I lived. Yeah. That's the biggest thing, is that I tell myself, I'm like, you will live. Yeah. You know, it won't be something you'll forget about it too. Like even if it does go wrong, you'll forget about it. Yeah. Like what is the worst that can happen going and doing these things, you know? Exactly. But what was another thing? I think while I got back into, I've noticed like during 2020 up until like last year-ish, because I didn't see a lot of people. I didn't go out, obviously, like a lot of, I mean, all of us. But I threw myself back in it like once. I think it was like, when was it? I was feeling like really like socially anxious right at I think it was like last year. When we started doing more things and things started opening up more and everything. Yeah. And I realized it, and it was like, it scared me so much to feel like that again. Yeah. You know? Yeah. To like it's be like scared to talk to people. Yeah. Yeah. And I just think the only thing that helped me is just doing it and forcing myself, and like not relying on other people to do these things, or like relying on like anything to take that away. Other than like myself fixing it. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. I think that's like, even like, never mind. I don't know what I was gonna say there, but
Do feel like maybe I can redeem myself. Maybe it's not socially awkward. It's because I can talk to people. It's more of people like I'm around, like working or like have to be friends with, like not have to be friends with, but like acquaintances and coworkers. I always want to like come across a certain way, and like I hold on to that of like, and then I think I really get anxious about like how people perceive me,
right,
and that just comes from confidence that I lack.
Yes.
And
yes.
Yes, you are. And that's something I really, really have been working on. And like, yeah, so I think that's like where I say socially anxious, because now that I'm like thinking about it, it's not, I don't have a problem talking to people at all. I can go ask for
something that you're gonna leave on someone.
Yeah, and that's just like confidence, and I just I do just get anxious about it, and yeah, like surrounding it. I'm like,
and I think actually a lot of like general anxious thoughts and stuff with conversing with people, it does have to do with confidence things.
Totally.
Like when I do feel more confident in myself or whatever in life, you know what I mean? That translates.
Yeah.
And I think that something that helped me with that, or like still does, is like reminding yourself that like you are a nice person. You know that you're a nice person. You know that you don't say mean things.
Yeah,
you know
exactly.
What I mean?
Yeah.
And so like looking at, it's like I didn't say anything like mean, like your values, and that's like the impression you want to leave on someone, maybe, you know what I mean, whatever yours personally are.
Yeah.
But I think just reminding yourself that like I am nice, I'm kind, I listen to people, like I love people. Reminding yourself of those things, kind of like affirmations.
I agree. And also something that does help me is reminding myself that I'm my age and that I have like so much time to get there, like that I don't have to be perfect at it, and I don't have to be like the most confident just because I see people my age online like that, or like around me, and it's like, you know, circumstances are always different for people. Like a lot of confidence comes with how you were raised and how your environment was and how, you know, people around you were. Like it all has to do with other things too. So I think reminding myself that, and just like not looking into conversations that deeply.
Exactly.
Like because, I cannot think about conversations. I really try to put up a wall of like, that happened, I can't change it, move on.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
I cannot be stuck in the past of like, what did I say to this person, how did I come across, oh my god, did I talk too much, did I gossip too much.
The other person, I have found out that like I would say like 7 times out of 10 the other person is doing the exact same thing.
I agree.
Or the other like percentage of that is like they don't give a fuck. Like most people do not give a fuck. They're not thinking about you. They are thinking about their own life. Even if they're not like overthinking their past interactions, they have other stuff in their life that they're thinking about.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And they're busy with that. They're not like replaying what you've said in your head.
Yeah. Not like you are.
Yeah, I've almost like I will with some people if you're like people are like mean or like rude or something.
Yeah, and you'll
sure, and you're like just like that's weird. But like
but rarely that like.
When do you ever think of like when someone said something awkward to you? I don't remember what anyone says that like when they you can tell someone's awkward. You never think about that.
Never.
Again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or like when someone's like just says something like that messes up in a conversation or anything. You never think about that stuff.
No.
You know.
Yeah, so true.
And I think that's
so true. That sounded really sarcastic, but it wasn't.
So true.
Sorry.
So true.
I'm gonna think about that later.
I'm just gonna spiral from this. I actually do spiral sometimes from this podcast because I word vomit like often, and that's the one thing that, you know, like again, like we were saying, you want to come off a certain way. I don't like, because we know our dynamic that I am the talker, like in general, like I don't shut up and I'm annoying, and like you're a listener.
Yeah.
And I think that like I get in my head sometimes about that.
I do too. I totally get in my head about being, I always call myself an observer. Yeah. I am such like a listener, and I don't even mean to. I'm just like always like thinking about like what you're saying to me when you're talking. I'm like, you know, whatever. And I just don't, even realize that I'm not talking.
Yeah.
I'm just I'm just so present.
Just
No,
too present.
but
Yeah. And then I'm the opposite. I'm like,
but I do get in my head about it.
Yeah.
I'm like, why am I so like that?
right.
It's so
Yeah, but that's what I mean. It's like a
like everyone has
thing.
like their own things
Version
too,
of
though.
that, yeah.
That's like very telling in that even.
right. Definitely. But also, you know what? Besides yelling at myself over and over again, to stop thinking about something, I actually literally sometimes if I'm anxious about like after I like hang out with someone, I will like feel weird about it. I'm like, I have to replace that interaction with a good one.
Mm-hmm.
And so this might not be like the healthiest form of that, but like I do think like I don't know how to describe it, but if let's say this is a theoretical. If I go and hang out with my friend, I feel awkward about whatever I talked about or something. I'm like, okay, I need to hang out with either them again or someone else, and like be like,
Yeah,
good.
you know? Redeem yourself.
Yeah, in my own head, and so then I can like
Yeah.
move on with it, or even just in general, like to distract myself. But like,
Yeah.
that also is something that personally helps me. Again, I don't know if that's recommended, but
Yeah.
you know,
If it works.
Yeah. Right. What was I going to say? Oh, and okay, so this is going into like anxiety attacks. So this is like a little bit more. This is when I very rarely have anxiety attacks anymore, thank God, because I used to have them really bad.
Mm-hmm.
And mine were embarrassing though, because mine would be like, I would be like crying. I mean, I'm telling you, you know, like crying and like.
You were so young though.
I know, it's really, but I would like, I mean, they come on when they come on, and I would be like around people that you don't necessarily want to see you like that. Like I would get anxious of like conflict, you know, and then you start crying. I start crying and like can't talk, and it's just like, like that
hyperventilating.
Yeah, that's the right word. And so, I learned though a trick from my first ever therapist. The only thing that I actually probably learned from her, nothing against her, but like, anyway, she taught me a breathing technique. What?
No, go on.
The
Sorry.
square breathing technique or something it's called, where you like
box breathing.
Thank you. Yeah, and I know a lot of you guys probably know about this. Like, but I think it's like you breathe in for 4 seconds, you hold it for 4 seconds, you then you breathe out for 4 seconds or
and then
something.
You pause, I think.
What?
And then you pause.
Yeah, and then you like can do it again.
Yeah.
Those kind of things help me a lot whenever I was like suffering from those kinds of things. But another thing is just like counting your breaths too. That to me, those are the only things that seemed to have really helped, but also sleeping.
Yeah.
Like sometimes you're like not with people and you're feeling just like sometimes you
I
do
agree.
have to sleep
That's when I feel really burnt out is when I need to sleep.
Yeah.
And I know that by now that I'm like, when I'm feeling that way, I'm like it happened the other night, but I think it's only like that happened solely because I like have cramps right now, and like I tend to get like that. Yeah. Like sometimes I'll just get really anxious, and I was really anxious the other night, and I was like, okay, I just gotta sleep this off.
Yeah.
And also when I can't sleep and I'm anxious, I will count from 100 backwards to 1. And
that's a good one.
That really, it's like counting sheep, but it really works.
Though. That to me is a cure. I know that's like such a thing people do for kids.
And if I get to 1, I start all over again. Like it really helps.
I always have to restart, but I get to like 4.
Well, you sleep fast too. You're on a second.
Yeah. But you know another thing that helps is water. I think in any form, like not maybe drinking water, yes, but like
in any form.
Yeah, in any form. But like showering and bathing, like going into the bath.
Those forms.
What? What did you think I was?
I thought you meant like Mio and water. Like I don't know why.
Yeah, no.
Sorry.
I mean, yes, maybe, but no, I'm talking about like submerging yourself in water, whether you have a pool or a hot tub. That would be great. I don't, so I choose my bathtub.
Yeah.
Or like
really
a shower.
Does help.
Yeah.
Showers always cleanse me out. I swear.
Yeah. Especially in crying fits. I used to do that where I would just go in a shower and just like you can't tell the difference, and so it's like you're fine.
You're fine.
I'm living. You know, like those kinds of things that ground you. To me, those like feeling water on your skin. I'm not a water sign, but it does ground me. In like reality, like, okay, you're living on this earth.
Like, you're real.
You're real.
Here.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And so with that also comes like a different thing that helps a lot of people, and myself, is fresh air.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Totally. I agree.
I really thought it was so cringe when I used to hear people say that kind of thing.
But it's really not.
It's so fucking true.
Yeah.
It's so true.
And must I add that to bring me back to reality, looking at the stars and outside. Like, obviously, you have to be outside to see the stars,
Right.
but going outside, like, I do it sometimes when I have to take layout. Like, go do it. No, it just happens. But when I have to take...
Wait, let's go stargaze.
So
Yes,
romantic.
their dog, by the way.
Yeah, she's our new puppy. Yeah. She's not a puppy, but
she's 9 years old.
she's like really old. But sometimes we go outside and I like look up. I'm like, wow, I'm really here. Like,
yeah.
And it really does put things into perspective. But yeah. Also, back to the breathing. I swear, when like I've been doing breath work. And I kind of fell off of it after this week from the wisdom teeth. But breath work and yoga help me so much when I feel anxious.
Yeah.
Like, even like 10 minutes of yoga and like just like stretching and like feeling in your body is really helpful to me.
Yeah. I've heard that as well.
Yeah.
From a lot of people.
And my old therapist used to tell me to do yoga nidra. And basically, it's like a sleeping yoga, like mind yoga thing where you like breathe and you like are just like laying down, and it's so helpful.
It's like meditation too. Like it's
kind of that. Yeah.
Or you're still moving. You're like
no, you're not really moving. I mean, I think some of them.
So it's like mind yoga.
There are, but I think it's like supposed to be like that. Like it's like just breath work. And
I
kind
see.
of just
okay.
like
okay.
Yeah. So that is really helpful. It's on YouTube. I do that sometimes when I feel very anxious.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Did you know that a cure, I don't know if this is true, but I saw this floating around the internet. But like that they used to prescribe a beach, like they used to prescribe for like mental health things, like going to the beach and like going to the sea, like actual like
I believe it.
Seas. Yeah.
For Western medicine.
Right. Yeah. And I don't know, again, I don't know if that's true, but I could really genuinely see that because whenever I do have been to the ocean sides and things like that, that in itself is very like healing. And I also think we live in Michigan, so we have a lot of the big lakes around us, and just like it's a different feeling of like being there and like, I don't know, the air. Maybe it's like the air or something.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I saw that on TikTok. This girl was talking about how it's like this little girl spitting out facts. And she was like, you know, people, I don't know what exactly she said. She said something like people who live around lakes tend to be a percentage happier.
I have heard that.
And I was like, wow, kind of makes sense because I feel like where our hometown is like that's not by water at all, but now where we live is.
Yeah.
I really do get some serotonin from looking at the lakes around us, especially lately because the water has been sparkling when it's sunny, and it literally does something to me. I agree.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
100%. And I genuinely do think that we grew up in a very city-based city, like in the suburbs, you know?
Yeah.
And we moved out like years ago, and we live around all these lakes now, and I'm like, it's in nature and just in general, like a lot of woods that just didn't exist by us.
Yeah.
And I do think that has contributed to my happiness.
Really do agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like it just feels so much better here.
I agree. And also another thing, there's so many other things to do too with your time out here that helps as well. Like when you're feeling like that.
And
like kayaking. That is such a rejuvenating thing. Like to just go sit on the water on a boat.
I agree.
You know?
Or just like walking by the water.
Yeah.
Like there's so many trails, or even just in like the woods.
Yep.
Trails.
Right.
To walk in.
Uh-huh.
But yeah.
I agree. But let's see. Another thing that I think has helped me is like I've talked about this before. I've really narrowed down my life into what I want in it and what consumes my energy and consumes my time. And that a lot of that has to do with people too, like that are in my life.
I agree.
And some people I was the deciding factor of like not letting them in my life, but a lot of them just so happened to like not be in it. And that in general, I look at these things as like blessings in disguise, and they weren't meant to be in there.
I really, truly, like, there's been so many friendships for me too that, not so many, but like a few where it kind of like people just like either take their, like, I don't know, like we somehow get separated.
Yeah.
Like something happens randomly out of the blue, and I'm like, why did this happen? And like looking back at friends that I used to have, I'm like, it was so like that was like
mentally draining.
Yeah, and they were not supposed to be in my life.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Not to say they're not good people.
And
or
I would be
anything.
so
It's just
different if they were.
People. Yeah. That's what I mean. People in general give off energy and like things. I think that like if you don't mesh well with someone or someone's causing you anxiety, like that is again used to be a big factor in my life of feeling anxious. Certain people, and I also like to say with certain things, but I kind of over time like came to the conclusion of like I don't force myself to do things. To say things, that to be like see people that make me feel uncomfortable or make me feel anxious in a way, you know? And I think that there's a difference between like maybe being nervous and anxious, but like or like coddling yourself and be like, you know what I mean? Like you're too in your bubble.
Yeah.
You know, I think there's definitely a fine line between that.
For sure.
But
like
I do
some things you do have to like push yourself to.
Yeah, exactly.
And like things like that for me, like I think of as like jobs.
Yeah.
Where I can't sometimes tell if I'm like just uncomfortable or feeling anxious and just don't want to deal with it, or you know, just nervous about it. But with friends, I think it's like just so good to have people around you that make you feel good and make you feel comfortable and safe.
Yeah.
And like for me, a lot of that is like my family. Like
that's what I was gonna say, because a lot of it isn't even
like we're very close to our family, and that's because I feel like genuinely myself, or like the most myself, and comfortable, and it's easy for me, and like, you know, I don't have to entertain you, and I don't have to put on like you know
and I think that some people it's the opposite, and some people find that with friends rather than family.
We should have
our camera died and we had to charge it for a little bit, so we had a little lunch break. But anyway, so I guess the only thing I can remember is talking about like not forcing ourselves to do things. Like I think what
you're talking about
I had sprinkles in our lunch break because we live in I don't live here anymore, but you live in an ingredient household. I've learned that term. And that's all that's in this house. So I was scavenging for lunch things. And so we made seaweed roll-ups with avocado in them. And she put sriracha. And
so good.
I usually put like garlic chili oil on it. And it's so good, yeah.
Probably even better.
Yeah. Then sprinkles. A nice nutritional lunch. And so my tongue is probably purple. Yeah. Dark purple. Anyway.
Magenta.
Yeah. So, okay, going back to anxiety. Essentially, like, I've learned I don't force myself to say things that are unnecessary or don't come to me naturally. Sometimes I let there be awkward silence, maybe when there shouldn't be, because if I can't think of something to say, I don't want to, like, just say something to say it. I want to mean it. Like, I am a firm believer in, like, if I don't like someone, or not that I'm talking to someone I don't like, you know what I mean? But, like, if I don't like someone or I don't know what to say or something, like, I want to think everything I say to be authentic.
Yeah.
But then Jamie's like, but if you just like ask them questions, you know, like people like talking about themselves.
Yeah. And it's just an easy gateway to a conversation.
Yeah.
Even though if you're anxious to be in it, or like don't necessarily even like care to, you know, whatever.
Right.
But I think it's really easy in a conversation, like to just ask someone about themselves, you know,
their day,
like talking,
their
let's
lives.
say to like a coworker, like, oh, do you have kids? Like, I don't know, anything, like school system, like what school do they go to? How old are they?
Yeah. And I think that listening is a lot easier than talking sometimes if you are like tend to be like more nervous.
Yeah. And that really does help me. People love to talk about themselves.
Yeah.
most of the time. Not me, but
Right. Yeah.
But also what you said before that about feelings and anxiousness, I've been learning something about like not attaching feelings to all of my thoughts. And not all of my thoughts are necessarily there to be felt.
Exactly.
And that's something that really does help, because when I find myself like thinking and overthinking and analyzing something and like putting an emotion on it, I'm like, whether that's like overwhelmed, scared, like anything, or like sadness over something, I'm like, okay, like, but like, what is the purpose of it? Why am I thinking about it so much? Like, not everything needs to be analyzed and
or so serious, or
so serious. Yes. And I like, that's something I do have to constantly remind myself that like things are not that serious most of the time. Over a situation, like anything that's making me anxious, I'm like, okay, I can just like go on with it and not like deeply
it
think about it.
That's what I think. I'm a big proponent of thoughts. Like I like it when my thoughts are fleeting, and so I keep them going. Like I keep them fleeting. It doesn't have to like be some big major thing. For like not only anxious thoughts either, like just like a lot of different things.
Yeah.
You can think something and move on.
Right. They don't have to be a big
reaction.
thing. Yeah. And you can just like, let them go, let yourself think.
Yep.
And that like helps not feeling that anxiety so much and so heavily.
I agree.
Because I feel like as soon as I get in that cycle of like anxious and like thinking about everything that's going wrong in my life, I'm like, no, take a step back. Like you're actually doing very good. You're alive. You're breathing. You're doing the thing.
That's what I'm saying. Yes, the affirmations of like grounding yourself.
And that, the next thing I'm going to talk about is what I've been learning in therapy, because I've been in it's CBT, so cognitive behavioral therapy. So it's like kind of detaching the feeling and thinking and like the cycle. So she's been teaching me how to reframe my thoughts if I'm feeling sad or anxious, and like catching those thoughts and reframing them into something else. So slowly your mindset is different and your thoughts are different, but it takes so much time and work. But when I do it and like actively am trying to better my thoughts, it really does help.
Right. Right. It like keeps you on the path.
Yeah.
Like staying aware of it.
Yeah, staying aware on top of it. And like affirmations just do really help with everything. Anything, really.
Yeah, I agree. You know what? Another thing that I think helps? These are things I don't try. I personally don't like to rely on like outside sources to like fix things for me. I don't know if that could be a bad thing or a good thing, but like I don't know how to describe it, like drinks or like what I'm gonna say. How about this? Like these things, I don't try to lean on too much, but I do think that they do help in certain situations. Like even at night, like if you tend to be anxious like before you go to bed and stuff, or like like just like your thoughts are, there. I just got a magnesium drink from Moon Juice, and
I was gonna bring this up too.
Yeah. Oh, were you? I love that. But that specific one, I've tried other ones, and I'm a skeptic, so that's why I tend to not lean on them, because I'm like, is it placebo or is it not? Like, I can figure it out myself, whatever. But I do think that one, like, first of all, it tastes good, which makes the difference. Some of them taste like shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the Moon Juice one, and then also there's another one from, I think it's like Goldie. They have these like packets, and they're so good. It's like a de-stress thing or something, and I can't remember what it has, like L-theanide or what is that?
L-theanine, I think.
L-theanine,
yeah.
Thank you. Theanide, that sounds like a cyanide.
Right.
Yeah. Knock you the fuck out, really. Yeah.
You're done.
Yeah.
I agree. I take magnesium every night before I sleep. It literally makes my thoughts go away before bed.
Right.
And so many people are deficient in it. I was deficient in it. When I went to my naturopath, that was one of the things I was deficient in.
Oh, wow, magnesium.
And a lot of people are. And the other one is iron. And that helps me a lot with my anxiety when I'm, like, taking it regularly. Right. I mean, so many women are deficient in that. Yeah. And yeah, you should definitely get that checked out. But
Right.
that's something that helps me a lot. And switching, like, I had a little bit of coffee earlier, but I do want to switch over to matcha like full time at least, because it does have L-theanine in it, which is
Yes.
so good for anxiety, while getting like caffeine in you,
Right.
to like, you know, get you energized,
Yes,
but more naturally and like
more stable.
Yeah. So I do
That's
want to do
another
that.
thing. Some people, that's important too. It's like, as much as coffee tastes so good, like thankfully coffee doesn't make me super anxious, but like I know it does for a lot of people.
It definitely does for me.
Worth
Yeah,
the feeling.
it is not worth it.
Isn't.
Yeah,
and I know it's fun and everything, and I think that like I don't know. I think that those kinds of things.
Yeah, and then something also, a few things that help. Me and Mom always talk about this one, but it's our supplement that we're on from our doctor, and it's called Serenogen, and she described it as like a natural Xanax, which is not a Xanax at all, but it does give you like that a little bit of effect. I notice, where it's just like kind of just like calms me down a little bit.
Interesting.
And that is so good.
Yeah.
And limiting sugar, which is so hard for me, but when I do it literally helps my anxiety so much.
Yeah, and I think that like you were saying too, like the matcha and things like that have like things that help balance you, and like what did you say it has? There's something in it. L-theanine. Yeah. Well,
I'm saying,
but there are there are a lot of foods. I've come to this thing because I used to be like, within the past few years, I've like, every time I have an issue, I like turn to a supplement, and I'll try not a supplement, a vitamin. My mom told me there's a difference that she learned from her doctor. But I'll like go online and I'll find like a vitamin that supposedly helps with that. I didn't put it together that I could just like eat more foods that have that thing in them. Like magnesium, you can find in a lot of other foods, like pumpkin seeds, I know, and like pepita seeds.
I have a list here too.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Really?
I want to say, good thing you brought that up because I almost forgot.
Oh yeah, I love that. Okay, go for it, because I know almonds and chia seeds is what I was going to say. But
yeah, chia seeds is so good for it.
Yeah.
Foods that help ease anxiety. This is from Healthline. So the number one is salmon and omega-3 fatty acids, which I also forgot. I'm a firm believer now in fish oil.
Yeah?
It has literally changed my life.
Really?
And which is converting me to wanting to eat fish. But we'll get there.
Right. Steps at a time.
Steps. Chamomile, and that's a herb to help reduce anxiety. You can find that in like, you know, teas, sleepy time tea or chamomile tea. It's really good. Number 3 is turmeric. Turmeric is a spice that contains curcumin. I don't know. A compound study for its role in promoting brain health and preventing anxiety disorders. It's a high antioxidant and anti-inflammatory with anti-inflammatory properties. 4, dark chocolate. 5, yogurt.
The probiotics probably in the gut help too.
Yep,
helps.
probiotics. And 6, green tea. Again, contains L-theanine, and which is an amino acid that's been studied for the positive effects it may have on the brain health and anxiety.
Love that.
7, almonds. 8, blueberries. 9, eggs.
Wow.
Turkey, bananas, and oats.
Dang.
Meat and dairy products, chia seeds, citrus fruits, and bell peppers because of the antioxidants.
See, there we go.
So,
yeah. I really do believe in like that kind of thing. Like I think that when I do like, because I've started focusing on that and stopped taking as many vitamins, and I think that helps me way more.
I agree.
Like right away too.
Right away.
Vitamins you have to like wait or whatever.
Yeah, it's like a full day of eating like whole foods like that help me so much, which automatically lowers your intake of sugar,
right?
And you know, processed foods, which are just like inflammatory to the brain and the body. Right. It's so beneficial. So that's like literally my number one. As soon as I start eating gluten and sugar, like, you know, sugary creams and coffees, I feel it. Like, I feel like brain fogged, all of it.
Right.
Yeah.
I'll do that when mom's calling. Sorry, girly. But as I'm drinking, I was thinking while you're saying that, as I'm drinking my like 4 shots, I have a what is this called? Americano.
Yeah.
And
it looks good.
It is, yeah, Americano with a splash of cream. But I got 4 shots today. As we're talking about like things that like decrease, don't do that. But I found this like really good Instagram account. I don't know. I was like, where can I find like interesting things to tell you guys that could help you maybe more than like our personal stories, but like there's this account called The Anxiety Healer, and she posts really great things, and it's like things anxiety might tell us and how to respond to it. I'll link these in the description also, but basically like a very common one is like, you're not good enough, right? And like when thinking this, ask yourself, who decides if a person is good enough? First of all, is there a set of requirements that one needs to be good enough? You know, like what is the standard of good enough? Like are these requirements applicable to everyone or just to you? And then also, is this belief rational? And if not, what would be a more healthy way of looking at it? Maybe of like, am I the person I want to be? That's like where my mind takes me for that. Like,
yeah, totally.
You know, am I a kind person? Do I love like these people? Like, you know what I mean? Another one is like, nobody likes you. That's like a thing that anxiety tells a lot of people. When thinking this, ask yourself, like, is there enough evidence to support this statement?
Yeah.
Do you have a line of people that actively are and openly don't like you?
Yep.
What do you feel when you think this also? And what is the worst thing about nobody liking you? Like, let's say everyone doesn't like you. What's so bad about it? Like, I guess that's what, like, that's probably not what she's saying, but
I think in a way though, it's like, you know,
doesn't matter.
It also depends on who you surround yourself with. Are they good people? Or
I mean, you could be like around like 80 serial killers and they don't like you, but you don't really want them to like you anyway.
Right.
Maybe serial killers is a little advanced, but like,
yeah,
you know. Another one is, you don't deserve this job, prize, person, or promotion. Like, you don't deserve, like, you know, like,
you're
I think that's right. What is the rationale behind this though? Or behind this thought, sorry. What would be the worst about it if it turned out to be true that you don't deserve this? What would be the consequence if it was true? And then another one, this is one that I think of a lot, like, your opinion does not matter.
That's one I struggle with too.
Right. It's like saying, like, I think that's why sometimes I choose not saying something, because it's like, I don't need to add my opinion. Doesn't matter, whatever. But when thinking this, does your opinion matter to you? That's, you know, the biggest thing. What does it mean to you if your opinion does not matter to others? And what is the worst thing about it? So those ones I really liked. And then another one was anxiety_wellbeing on Instagram. And it's my anxiety feels like, I just thought these were interesting. Like, the moment the roller coaster stops right before the big drop, but all the time. And oh my God, the thing again. We changed the video to, we're on my iPhone now, so the quality must be probably a lot clearer. It's not so vintage, but anyway, sorry. The thing died again. We're so unprofessional. I didn't charge it. I was charging it in the car on the way here, so that's
funny. Oh, well.
I also found this subreddit that I thought was like really interesting. Like, if you looked up like anxiety help, there's like a whole thread on. I don't recommend Reddit all the time, but I do think for some things, like,
I agree. I do use it once in a while for things.
They have interesting topics, and it's like real people. That's what I like about it.
Yeah.
You know,
the comments are always like, you know, experiences. And
exactly. And they had a whole thread on that as well, which I thought was really interesting. And one thing that I remember from that is that someone was saying, like, that they schedule a time for them to be anxious, kind of, in a way.
I have heard of that.
Yeah.
They're like, they give them an hour of the day or something.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And then also, like, if there's, like, for me, like, if there's something that I know in the future is going to make me anxious, I literally don't think about it. I don't let myself think about it or feel anxious about it until the day of. Yeah. That's when I will allow myself, because I kind of have no option at that point. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I do it no matter what. Like, my body feels like it, even if I don't let my brain. Like, you know, I...
Yeah. Or even before the whatever I'm anxious about, like, sometimes, I don't know, whatever I'm anxious about, I'm like, I honestly, like, don't even take it in until I'm 5 minutes away. I'm like, well, now I have no choice. Yeah. But to go in and, like, just do it.
Do it.
And that gives me no time to think about it. Yeah. I'm like, go on about my day like nothing's happening.
I agree. Yeah.
And
I think being busy too, like that kind of reminds me of that, like keeping yourself busy
exactly
from things like, I
Yep.
agree. But all in all, like I think that it's important to realize that like it's a very normal emotion. And I think I used to hate when people said that, because it's like, no, you don't understand how like I'm feeling. Like, you know what I mean? This is not like, you know, it feels so heavy and like hard, and it is, and it can be. And I think, but on the flip side, like so many people are dealing with it. That is like, to me, it's like sad, but it's also comforting in a way. You know what I mean?
I agree. Yeah.
That like it's going to be okay. People get through it, first of all, you know. And so that's another thing. I don't want to listen to our old episodes on this, but if I were to, I think both of us maybe would realize like how much we've grown from it, and like that things really do change.
Totally.
Like, at least, I don't know, in this regard.
Yeah.
Especially. So.
Yeah. And also the one cliche thing also that I have to add is learning that gratitude outweighs anxiousness.
Yeah.
Like they kind of can't go together.
No, they do not coexist very well.
Yeah.
Because then you're not fully at either point. Like,
right.
You know, like you're somewhere in the middle maybe, but like,
right.
if you're fully like, it's hard to control that, but like if you can fully get yourself to the gratitude point of like, that kind of thing,
or not even just like feeling it, but like at least like writing out things or thinking about things that like, you know, like there's been times where I'm like simply just like playing with my cats, like throwing around toys. I'm like, wow, this is like, I'm grateful for this. And it kind of like shifts it into something else other than like negative feelings and anxiousness, which
that's a good
it
point.
just helps a lot for me.
Good point.
Like,
that's why I throw in any playlist, I'll throw in some songs like All Right.
Yeah.
Darius Rucker, All Right. And those kind of songs, like they put things in perspective. And sometimes, again, I think perspective has so much to do with it for me, at least.
It
like,
really does.
Yeah. Realizing like,
it's powerful.
Right. What is worth it? What is not? Like you are on this earth for so long. Like what is actually the point of like so long isn't short? Like that made it sound like you're on this earth forever. You know what I mean? Like I know it's not a choice majority of the time.
Yeah.
But
and it's easier
to
say.
Me as being like on the more moderate scale part. I had to like fix something so that
something had to give, and
you know, and I like talking to people. I enjoy like human connection, and like as scary as it seemed at one point in my life, like it is something that makes me feel really happy afterwards and like during, because you know, like I was even thinking about this. I actually wrote in a note for a different podcast. I don't even know for what podcast topic, but like I've stopped. Like I used to let myself. I think it is like enabling, but like used to enable myself to like take the easier route of things. And I think like sometimes when I put into perspective of like, yes, it's easier, but like, is it like making your like current life easier, like fully, you know, like even like stupid things like dropping or like, okay, so this was a recent one. I start going to the post office instead of ordering stamps online. Things like that, like, or instead of ordering groceries, I go to the grocery store because like you get human interaction.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I get to talk to the lady at self-checkout. Yeah.
Yeah.
And those things that used to scare me, it's like I realized once I start doing them and they're so normal, it's like everyone else is doing them. They're actually way more positive now. You know? And like I like doing them.
Yeah.
Rather than being so scared by them.
Yeah.
Because all in all, like I have also learned people aren't as scary as you think in your head.
I agree.
Most people are so nice.
Yeah.
And everyone is so normal. Like, at least where we are. Like, we live in the Midwest, and I think that's the thing about the Midwest. Everyone talks about them being, like, very friendly.
I know,
and, but I've started to realize that as I go out in the world more, that most people, like, they don't mean... Like, they just want to talk to be nice. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're friendly.
Yeah. I used to be like... Don't talk. Like, I have my headphones on. I don't talk.
Yeah.
You know, but it's nice.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I agree. There's just so much on the other side of that. Like, the fear is so consuming.
It is, yeah.
That, yeah.
Totally. I agree. And, yeah. I don't know. It's funny, though, because we were talking about this, and I was like, when we came up with the topic to talk about this was, like, last week. And then after that, because at that point I was like, you know, I feel pretty good about it. And then I had like a few things that like made me really anxious. And I was like, oh, like that's funny timing,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
But that's how life works. And hopefully this was interesting to you guys. I'd love to hear what you guys think down below in the comments if you are on YouTube or on Spotify. I think I'll put like a box thing too of like what helps you maybe like with your anxious thoughts.
Yeah,
or
I
just
agree.
like
I'd
general
love to
nervousness. What?
I'd love to hear other people's.
Yeah, whether it's a product or like a thing or like a phrase that you tell yourself or something.
Yeah.
That would be amazing.
Or even things just like what you get anxious about. I would like to hear that too.
Yeah, what does make you anxious? It's a beautiful day out today. If you are watching, like I said on the video, you can tell that it is sunny, which it's not always. And
grass is looking green.
it is. Things are coming back to life. And it's really a nice feeling because I went out and gardened yesterday.
Oh.
It was... If you guys remember from last summer, I'm a gardener now. I don't understand, like, why I wasn't always into plants. Because even if I didn't have my own house, you can, like, have plants. But actually, gardening outside is different.
Yeah.
I like it better.
I would too.
Yeah.
I've had plants before. I'm like, the spiders and like, you know, I feel like they attract them.
That's a
I'm
good
not
point.
into that.
Yeah.
I can't wait to have a garden one day.
You could probably have one out here. Mom wouldn't care.
I guess so.
Like it. Why not? Wait, that's a great idea for you, Jamie.
Just gonna grow a sunflower patch out there.
Yeah, but or you can grow your own fruits and vegetables.
That's very true.
That sounds like right up your alley. That's less things that you have to buy at the grocery store.
Totally.
Just saying.
Mom
I
would
can help you
so
set
not
it up.
care. Yeah,
I
you
know.
should.
I think it's so fun though, and it's like very like grounding too. But we meant to talk more about grounding in this episode. Maybe we'll have a different episode on that
Yeah.
because we talked mostly about anxiety.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
I feel like
We had a lot to say, and we could probably even do another episode on this. You know?
Yeah.
I feel like at least I could.
I
I could talk
do.
for days about it.
Me too. I agree.
Yeah.
There's so much to say on it.
I know. There literally is. But anyway. What else? Anything? I think that's kind of it. This is a
Yeah.
long episode, so we better actually shut up.
Yeah.
Hopefully you
This
guys
is
are
a
not.
long episode.
Yeah. I
Does
want to
not
know
feel
where
like
you guys
that.
are listening to these, but
Mm-hmm.
that's beside the point. Anyway.
Well,
Any last thoughts?
No.
Before I kill you.
Not me.
Okay.
You?
No, I think that's it.
Well.
We will talk to you guys next time, though. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Anyway, but we love you guys so much, and we really do appreciate you guys being here. And if you're listening to this, thank you so much for listening. And we love you and appreciate you, and we hope you have a very non-anxious week.
Yeah.
Ahead
And
of
hopefully this
yourself.
episode made you feel a little bit more understood.
Yeah,
and,
there we go.
you
I
know,
like that purpose for an episode.
Connected.
Yeah.
You know, you're not alone. Anxiety can just make you feel
alone,
isolated. So
For sure.
we love you. Hope you're doing well.
And yeah, we'll talk to you next time.
Bye.
Bye, 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 bye.